In addition to sales and payroll, Aspect software is a full inventory management system. You can take your inventory items and separate them by groups and develop a full cost of sales report, such as in this sample here. By simply setting up your inventory items in Aspect, you're able to get your cost of sales report by developing a beginning inventory, plugging in invoices and developing purchases, and then developing an ending inventory, which brings you an actual cost of sales. Dividing that cost out by your net sales, you're able to get an actual cost of goods. You can separate your sales and how you divide your costs out by separating your food sales to just develop your food cost, as well as then having your full net sales to develop other costs of goods for your full service products. As well as developing your inventory, you can also develop a theoretical inventory cost by plugging in recipes and so on. Here, you're not only able to develop your actual cost of goods, but you can develop a legitimate or theoretical cost of goods, which allows you to track items and to look for waste. In this particular example here, for example, in my meat category, my actual cost of goods for meat was 11.11%, or $12,165. It should have been, based on all my recipes and purchases, $10,900, or a 9.97%. Essentially, I ran a 1.14% more in beef cost than I should have. You can then drill down or double click on a given group and therefore further investigating the item. This group is now broken up into all the items, which creates that particular group. Here you can see a breakdown of individual items by beginning inventory, units purchased, and ending inventory. You have the ability to look and say, for example, that I used 684 beef patties and I should have used 648. Therefore, I used 36 more patties than I was supposed to over this time frame. By clicking your binoculars, you have the ability to be able to further inspect this by looking at your cost as well as usage. Usage being units, cost being dollars. If you have other items that you want to investigate further, for example, my fillets, you can also double click on an individual item, further drilling down and getting even more detailed information. This particular view gives you a day-by-day breakdown of the item and how it was used and where it went. For example, here you can see I had an actual inventory count on March 2nd of 95. Aspect will then take anything that you purchased and add it and then subtract out anything that you use based on your recipes, therefore giving you a running perpetual on hand. This perpetual is what the computer thinks you're supposed to have based on anything that was rung up and anything that was purchased. So at the end of a week, while you counted 128, the computer thinks you should have had 150. Same thing here. You counted 55, you should have had 77. You can then even further inspect this item by right-clicking and either inspecting purchases, which would allow you to look at all of your invoices to make sure that everything was entered correctly, or choosing inspect legitimate usage, which will allow you to check all the recipes to make sure that it's being used in every product possible. This cost of sales becomes a very powerful tool in tracking all of your waste, finding out if you're overportioning or mishandling product, or perhaps even if there's a theft issue.